Hello, this is OC Skywatch. It is the 20th of November 2015 around 7 p.m. and I'm going to do a short video focusing on lower level aerosol tracks that were extremely visible today. First, let's get an overview of what's going on right now. This is November 20th, 17:30 to 21 Zulu. You can see that northwest of Hawaii there's a low pressure trying to develop. Unfortunately though, there's a lot of aerosols that are being laid inside of this plume here. That might hinder development a bit. There's also aerosols more to the west and northwest of that. This thing is starting to pick up some momentum, but hey, we're going to have to watch this thing, see what it does. Also, near the west coast, there's a low pressure right here that looks to be compromised. See, there's a bunch of aerosols both north and south of it. Let's slow this down. Just look at all the heavy spray. That's not good. Again, we're going to have to watch this. If anything does occur with the two systems, well, I'll make a long update. Okay, this is November 20th going to 21st, 21 to 030 Zulu. Right here, the low pressure near Hawaii seems to be gaining a lot of momentum, and aerosols are continuing to be deployed here. They're not the most visible, but you know these things here are aerosols by their features. They're all wispy. Let's slow this down. Very covert. It's like a little postage stamp of aerosols being deployed right here. Over here is, again, more aerosols. There's also aerosols that are impacting us in Southern California. That's because there's a moisture plume that's trying to curl up into a good low pressure and bring us some rain. See? Unfortunately though, with aerosols being laid down, that creates a capping inversion and prevents Mother Nature from making a nice low pressure system. That's very interesting here. Seems like there's dry air being pressed down. Okay, let's slow this down. Just look at that. It's very bizarre. Clockwise. And off to the east a bit. See, we're getting some. Sky looked terrible today. We're also gonna get some offshore winds in the next, well, less than 12 hours from now. That's gonna last all the way into Sunday. That means I'm gonna have pretty dry throat. Not looking forward to that. Anyways, near this big moisture plume near Hawaii, see there's like a line here. See these things are heading this way, and at a certain point, stuff coming down from here just disappears. So of course, it could only mean one thing. They're pressing a bunch of dry air down here. Okay, the lower level aerosols are going to be over here and over here. There's often high pressure near these things. That's an observation I've made. Okay, let's go into visible here. See, you know these things are lower level because they don't show up in water vapor. Water vapor only shows the moisture at the mid levels and the upper levels. Okay, let's zoom in here to this one concentrated area and slow it down. You can see clearly that these things are moving. They're moving slower than traditional jets. If they're jets or tankers, they must be flying pretty slowly, dumping this crap. Ships could also because of this. I'm honestly not sure, but either way, it doesn't look natural at all. Very interesting. Okay, let's speed this up. You detect that these things are moving more because of the increased speed. That's why I play a lot of these maps at a higher speed, just so you can see what's going on better. Anyways, this is over the course of 3 hours and 30 minutes. Again, I think they're either ships or tankers. These things look extremely, extremely thick. And they're about the same level as the marine clouds, around 5,000 or so feet. Also, there's an area off the California coast that's getting some of these lower level things. There's actually higher up stuff and lower stuff in the same area. It's kind of bizarre. Showing you a little bit slower now. So obviously there's high pressure here because you see it clockwise. See the aerosols over California. They're not the most visible, but you know they're there. Also, to the northwest of these lower level things, there's these clouds disappearing. They have the hard boundaries in them. See a clockwise flow right here. That's an indication of man-made high pressure. So tight. Anyways, this whole thing is bizarre. Okay, let's go into a world view. This is off our coast. See these things? These unusual lines. Interesting wavy effect. One little end of it. It's very bizarre. They're probably photoshopping a lot of this out, but I'm just thankful that I was able to see this great on the satellite maps in the geostationary image browser. Over here, weird clouds disappearing. Very interesting hard formations. Also up here, just a little bit south of the Gulf of Alaska, see all these lines, very, very visible. Anyways, just look at this. These all are in a very concentrated area. Plume is quite a bit thicker than the higher up stuff. These either have to be low-flying tankers or ships. Don't know of any other way they can do this. Oh my gosh, look at that. Anyways, though, that's an insane amount of plumes here. Stuff is very thick. Even down here you see the lines. Hell, you even see them a bit better. Too bad these things are a little bit blurry when you zoom in like that. They don't want you to see too much. Anyways, you get the big picture here. There's an insane amount of low-level spray. It's crazy. And each one of these things is a different airplane or ship. If anything does happen with these two things trying to develop, well, there's even some of these low-level things near this low pressure that's trying to develop off the northwest coast. And yeah, over here there's something trying to develop. There's looks to be a little hole in the clouds here. I think they were pressing dry air down, trying to prevent this thing from forming near Hawaii. Very bizarre stuff. Actually, let's go back into visible and see if there's anything weird happening here. Seems to be a little clockwise rotation at the start of this plume of clouds. Very, very interesting. Even looks to be a little ring thing. But yeah, the clockwise rotation is very, very suspicious, especially if it's in such a tight area. And there's clouds disappearing as well. So I'm almost certain that there is some intervention going on with this low pressure trying to develop. Look at all the aerosols around here. That's no good. See the wispy stuff. Even see more clockwise in the aerosols. Well, it's around 10 o'clock in the evening now, and see the wind is starting to kick up a bit. Oh dear. It's going to be quite a rough night. Humidity's probably less than 15% now. Not good. See, my throat's already starting to get dry. And it hasn't even been a few hours yet. And look at all the crap in our sky. Don't know how well it shows up on the camera, but there's definitely aerosols out. It's getting worse. Damn it. It's so dry. Okay, it's around 10:15 p.m. and, well, seems like the amount of aerosols just continues to grow. This is November 21st, 2 to 5:30 Zulu, and yeah, I just look at this for a second. This is pretty nasty, and you know, these aerosols are actually getting sucked up into this low-level, low-pressure moisture field. That's going to just weaken it even more. And you see these things are still being laid down. You see the lines growing. It's no good. It's very, very dense towards the north. Could that be to stabilize the air? I don't know. Also, off the coast of California, these lines are becoming even more visible. Look at how many there are now. Sure, this is shortwave. I'm only using shortwave because, well, it's nighttime. If I could use visible, I would. Anyways, you see what's going on here. They're trying to keep high pressure here. The winds have already started like I expected. Anyways, yeah, that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and please share. We must continue watching these weather maps. It's very important, and it's a good way to fight the weather warfare being waged against local area. Before I go, there's an interesting area of disappearing clouds near the northwest coast. That's very strange. It's like just all of a sudden. And there's a flow that's trying to go into here, but it's just disappearing. Also a red flag. So yeah, they're pressing in dry air, trying to keep high pressure going. Anyways, we need more people to watch these weather maps, and if anything weird happens, go and make a video on it. What I do is I use a secondary PC. In my case, it's my low power FTP/DNS server. It has 2 hard drives on it, so it's alright for recording. And yeah, what I do each time I want to get a new map, I copy the URL, open up a new tab, and then paste in, get whatever map I want. And yeah, it's pretty easy. See, current specs on this system is it's Pentium G3240 on a H81 motherboard. It's an MSI. It also has a GeForce GT 430 graphics 1GB edition. Does good job for what it is. 8GB DDR3 EVGA 500B PSU. Anyways, as for screen recording software, I personally use Fraps on here because it doesn't take a whole lot of power. You could do it on older PCs, but you gotta make sure though that the hard drive is decent, or you have a secondary hard drive because these files get huge. There are of course other free alternatives like open broadcasting software for Windows. I'd use that, but it doesn't work on server OS too well. And Screencast-O-Matic's another one. As for Linux, Simple Screen Recorder, I heard that one was pretty decent. But about Mac, not 100% certain because I've never owned a Mac. Anyways, I store up these maps for around a week or so, and if anything interesting happens, I'll make a video on it. If nothing interesting happens, I go and reboot, and yeah. The only reason why I keep this thing on 24/7 is because it's drawing less than 45 watts at idle. Power is expensive in California. Anyways, I think that's it. Thank you for watching. Please share.